2, 3 weeks later, looking like a bag of Hey guys, today we're going to go over the 5 tips to deal with post-show blues or post-show depression. So the show's over, you've done the whole prep, it went well, it didn't go well. Now you're put in a situation where you don't have an immediate goal, and I've seen it a lot in the amateur ranks and the pro ranks, guys, girls that have a lot of problems dealing with this situation. Tip number 1, controlling your rebound. So if you have a coach, or even if you coach yourself, you should have a plan in place to when your show's over to be able to rebound from your show and not go off the rails. So that is something that's very easy to do, is to really go off when you're very hungry and you don't necessarily have an immediate goal, so you have nothing really stopping you from doing it. Everything you want to eat that you haven't eaten in a long time, or that you just crave a lot of food. So having a plan in place, it's very hard to follow, but it's very, very important to do, so that you make sure that not only your mental health is in check, but also your physical health. Gaining a lot of weight in a short period of time isn't healthy. Looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself in really, really top shape, and 2, 3 weeks later looking like a bag of milk isn't gonna help your mental state. So making sure that you keep that in check is gonna be very, very important and very beneficial to start your off season. Tip number 2, approaching the off season as a progression season. People that will go off and just slack off on your training, slack off on your diet, are the same athletes that are going to look exactly the same the next time they'll step on stage. Being in a state where you're trying to progress, trying to fill in the certain gaps that you have or the weaknesses that you have, is the way to go. Progressing, and that's why I don't like to use the word off season, because it insinuates that you're going off your plan, that you were going very regimented during your prep. Making sure that you have a structure is super, super important, and making sure that you're trying to progress, an opportunity to get better, and this is how you're going to go up the ranks next time you get on stage. Tip number 3, and this is a hard one to do, being able to accept that you're not going to stay show prep ready year round. If you have a photo shoot, you have something going on after the show, a guest pose, you want to keep yourself a little bit tighter, that's fine. But at a certain point, you need to accept that you're going to put a little bit more body fat on, and being in a normal state. Being super, super shredded isn't normal, and it isn't healthy. So being able to accept what you look like once you gain a little bit of size. I'm not saying going off again, but you're gonna pack on a little bit more fat, a little bit more water, and that's okay. You need to be able to accept that, and knowing that it's part of the process, and being able to love yourself even though you're a little bit more fluffy. Tip number 4, get your blood work done. Making sure your health markers are in check is super important for longevity in this sport. I don't care if you're natural, I don't care if you're enhanced. Making sure that all this stress that you put in your body during prep, and probably the most unhealthiest spot that you've been, being so low body fat, is super important to make sure how healthy you are and if you're recovering from the prep. Tip number 5, and probably the most underrated one, spending time with the loved ones that have been there to support you during your prep. So you're having a little bit of a downtime where you're not as stressed, you're not as hungry, you're a little bit more emotionally available. So making sure you give back to the people that have been there for you, spending time with them, making sure that they know that they're important to you and that you appreciate what they've done for you during your prep, to keep these people around. Hope that was helpful. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment below to tell me what you guys want to see next. There's going to be another video next week, so stay tuned.